The next time you are visiting Las Vegas, if you're at any of the following casinos, the Luxor, Excalibur, or Mandalay Bay, look towards the Harry Reid Airport, especially during the early morning and late evening, as you'll spot a mysterious plane. There are no markings and no logos, they're plain white with a single red stripe. They're known as Janet Airlines. What is Janet Airlines and who is flying them? Let's find out. Janet Airlines began its operations in 1972 with a flight from Las Vegas to Homey Airport by a Douglas DC-6. The name Janet is not the official name but the call sign for the aircrafts. Janet is thought to stand for Joint Air Network for Employee Transportation or just another non-existent terminal. The Janet aircraft are used as an employee shuttle to transport military, DoD civilians, and contractor employees to Special Access Program facilities. Due to the airline's secretive status, little is known about its organization. However, there are a few key details that we know. Janet is presently operated for the U.S. Air Force by infrastructure and defense contractor Momentum through the company's acquisition of ACOM. EG&G originally operated Airline and later the URS Corporation. This is a result of periodic job hirings published by URS and ACOM. For example, in 2010, URS announced it would be hiring Boeing 737 flight attendants to be based in Las Vegas, which would require applicants to undergo a single-scope background investigation in order to be able to obtain a security clearance. When boarding the aircraft, the passengers board Janet Airlines at a standalone terminal on the west side of Harry Reid International Airport, as this is due to its secrecy. The Janet flights operated with a 3-digit flight number and a www prefix. In the official publication ICAO airline codes, the specific 3-letter designator is listed as being blocked. The primary airline call sign is simply Janet, though flights transition to alternative call signs called groom call signs once transferred over to Groom Lake from Nellis Control. The current fleet of aircraft is made up of 6 Boeing 737-600s with no markings or logos on its fuselage. The planes are registered to the United States Air Force but does not disclose the operator of the aircraft. The fleet of aircraft have a distinctive look. The body is completely white with the only noticeable aspect being a red stripe known as a cheatline. Over the years, Janet Airlines have used various aircraft including 2 Douglas DC-6s, 6 Boeing 737-200s, 2 Beechcraft 1900s, 2 Beechcraft B-200s, and 2 Beechcraft B-300s. Many people have heard of and wondered about this mysterious airline. Next question to answer is, where did they fly to? Despite the secrecy surrounding Janet Airlines, it is possible to track the aircraft and determine their destinations. The Nevada Test and Training Range, an extensive military training area located in the Nevada desert, is one such destination. Janet flights transport many people to various locations within the range. Here are a few examples. This site, a reservation of the U.S. Department of Energy located 65 miles away from Las Vegas, was formerly known as the Nevada Proving Grounds of the U.S. Army. Acquired in 1951, it served as a testing venue for American nuclear devices until 1992, when the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty ended underground testing of nuclear bombs. The Tonopah Test Range is a highly classified restricted military installation in the U.S. Department of Defense. Built in 1957, the Tonopah Range is mainly used for nuclear weapon stockpile testing, research and development of fusing and firing systems, and testing nuclear weapon delivery systems. This base is also known as Area 52. Beginning in the early 1930s, Plant 42 is a classified aircraft manufacturing facility owned by the United States Air Force, located 60 miles from Los Angeles. It is a component of Edwards Air Force Base and hosts numerous aerospace contractors. Many notable vehicles have been built there, including the Space Shuttle Orbiters, North American X-15, and the Rockwell B-1 Lancer. Wright Patterson Air Force Base, established between 1904 and 1905, played a significant role during World War II. In the fall of 1942, Wright Field tested a reconstructed German pulse jet engine, and by 1943 it began receiving captured German and Japanese aircraft. The captured equipment suit filled 6 buildings, a large outdoor storage area, and part of a flight line hangar. In July 1947, Wright Field hosted Project Sign, an official U.S. government study into unidentified flying objects, which later evolved into Project Grudge and Project Blue Book. Being built in 1955, the highly secretive base is officially used to develop and test experimental aircraft and weapon systems. Throughout its history, Area 51 has helped develop aircraft such as the Lockheed U-2 Dragon Lady, the Lockheed D-21 Drone, the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, and the Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk. However, Area 51 has become a focus of conspiracy theories due to its secret nature and the connection to classified aircraft research. Other well-known destinations include the Nellis Air Force Base and the China Lakes Weapon Base. Due to its secret nature, Janet Airlines uses special codes for its destinations. While not all codes are known, here are a few that we know. Plant 42 is Station 1, Area 51 is Station 3, Base Camp is Station 6, Tonopah Test Range is Station 7, and the Janet Terminal at Harry Reid is Station 9. There are many destinations served by Janet Airlines, including some that remain undisclosed. The existence of this hidden airline operated by the US government might surprise many, but it is not the first secretive airline in US history. Air America was a defunct airline operated by the CIA from the 1950s till 1978, but its origins date back to World War II. During the war, the United States supported the Chinese nationalists led by General Chiang Kai-shek. Major General Claire Lee Chennault was tasked with developing Chinese air power using leftover aircraft and volunteer airmen. Chennault's mission was to impede the Japanese invasion force and conduct air raids on Japan's mainland. Chennault established the American Volunteer Group and was given approximately 100 Curtiss P-40 Warhawks, which featured a distinctive tiger tooth pattern and red and white eye design on their noses. The Chinese called these planes Tigers, and the American airmen adopted the nickname the Flying Tigers. The AVG became an official unit of the U.S. Army Air Forces in 1942, retaining the name and distinctive pattern when the U.S. formally entered the Chinese theater as a combatant. After World War II, the UN established the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration, which contracted with the newly formed Chinese National Relief and Rehabilitation Administration. On October 25, 1946, this name was shortened to Civil Air Transport. CAT purchased 5 C-47 Skytrains in the United States and established routes between Shanghai and Canton. The original CAT logo featured a tiger, paying homage to its wartime legacy. CAT was tasked with transporting UN relief supplies but faced numerous challenges from the start. Chinese Air Force base commanders regularly impounded CAT aircraft, and the airfields were often riddled with bomb craters and shell holes. Despite these difficulties, CAT's work was highly regarded and recognized as a humanitarian endeavor by both Chinese national government and the UN. After the Chinese Civil War, the CIA recognized the valuable skill set of the CAT pilots, who were seasoned by their experiences. During the Korean War, CAT pilots conducted numerous missions over mainland China, inserting CIA agents and equipment into hostile territory. The Korean War marked CAT's first major combatant engagement for the U.S. government. To maintain the appearance of a civilian airline, CAT continued normal flight operations. In December 1965, the CIA purchased a new Convair 880 for $4.5 million, known as the Mandarin Jet, which was elegantly decorated and piloted by CAT's best. The Mandarin Jet remained in service until it sailed to Cathay Pacific in 1968. In 1959, CAT changed its name to Air America to avoid scrutiny from the Japanese tax authorities investigating the company's origin and benefactors, adopting the slogan "Anything, Anywhere, Anytime professionally." Air America supported Tibetan rebels during China's 1950 invasion of Tibet, routinely airdropping arms, ammunition, and supplies to Khampa guerrillas. The operation in Laos, known as the Secret War, involved the CIA covertly supporting the Royal Lao government and among insurgents against communist Pathet during the Vietnam War, using Air America to deliver supplies and establish a secret army under General Vang Pao, despite the Geneva Conference's prohibition on U.S. involvement. In 1964, the Pathet captured the vital plains of Jars, severely impacting Hmong's insurgents' ability to export opium, their main source of funding, leading General Vang Pao to rely on the CIA's Air America for alternative air transport. According to Alfred McCoy in his book The Politics of Heroin in Southeast Asia, Air America became a narcotic trafficking service for General Vang Pao, flying opium to his headquarters and delivering the finished heroin to dealers in Manila, Bangkok, and Saigon, with the CIA encouraging opium cultivation. Air America pilots likely became aware of their illicit cargo over time, as the CIA facilitated transportation of raw opium from Hmong villages to General Vang Pao's headquarters for heroin production, which was then flown to various Southeast Asian cities, with the CIA providing transport, arms, and political protection while maintaining plausible deniability regarding direct involvement in drug trafficking. Air America was disbanded by the CIA in 1974 as the Vietnam War ended, with remaining assets transferred to Continental Air Services. And its final acts, including the famous evacuation of the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, were humanitarian. Turning our attention back to Janet Airlines, there are some who believe Janet is hiding many secrets from the public. Many conspiracy theories are associated with Janet Airlines, often speculating about the nature of government experiments and projects conducted at classified facilities. Some theorists suggest that Janet Airlines is involved in transporting personnel to sites engaged in mind control and psychological operation, conducted by secretive government agencies. Others claim that the flights support research in extraterrestrial technology, citing possible sightings of UFOs near these facilities. Additionally, there are theories about underground facilities beneath these locations, black projects, and secret weapons conducted under a veil of secrecy. Regardless of the specific theory, they all converge on a single location, Groom Lake, also known as Area 51, as many believe that the Roswell UFO crash wreckage was transported to Area 51, where it still is to this day. However, one man may have lifted that veil of secrecy slightly.
We've been working on this story for a long time, and we'll tell you right up front that it's going to be hard to swallow at first.
Dennis has remained anonymous until now. His real name is Robert Lazar. He says he was hired to work at an area called S4, which is a few miles south of Groom Lake.
Right, this came from somewhere else. I mean, as bizarre as that is to believe, but I mean, it's there, I saw it. I know what the current state of the art is in physics, and it can't be done.
In 1989, a man named Dennis, later known as Bob Lazar, revealed his secrets. In May 1989, KLAS-TV released an interview with Bob Lazar, who claimed to have worked on flying saucers at a location called S4, situated over 15 miles away from Area 51 at Papoose Lake. Lazar stated that his job involved reverse engineering extraterrestrial craft. He claimed the propulsion system of these craft used an unknown element, which he described as Element 115, producing gravitational waves for propulsion.
The power source is an antimatter reactor. They run gravity amplifiers. It's a bizarre technology. There's no physical hookup between any of the systems in there. They use gravity as a wave using waveguides, almost like microwaves.
But it was Bob Lazar. Robert Scott Lazar was born in Coral Gables, Florida in 1959. Lazar said he attended MIT and Caltech, where he completed degrees in physics and electronics. Beginning in 1982, Lazar claimed to have worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico as a physicist. Years later, he came to the public eye for an interview with investigative journalist George Knapp on the Las Vegas TV station KLAS TV. Initially appearing as Dennis, he claimed to have worked at a secret base called S4 near Air 51. According to Lazar, S4 is a highly secretive facility where he worked on reverse engineering extraterrestrial spacecraft propulsion systems. Lazar described these propulsion systems being powered by a stable version of an element he called Element 115 and stated that the craft used a gravity wave amplification system to travel and maneuver. There are many other details that Bob Lazar is described in the story, but the most important detail is he lying? Secret government facilities, crashed alien craft, and man who reverse engineered the technology. But is it true? The many theories surrounding Area 51 are hard to verify, as no evidence can conclusively say it is true. However, it does not mean that there is no secret technology being developed there, as many secret technology has been developed in the Nevada desert. So unless more information is released, we will not know what is going on at Area 51. Turning our attention to Bob Lazar, his story is very interesting. For over 30 years, Bob Lazar's story has not changed, but instead stayed the same with a few details added over the years. He has undergone many lie detector tests and have been found 4 out of 5 times to be telling the truth.
Did you knowingly lie when you said you had actually seen anti-gravity propulsion in operation?
No.
And one test came back as inconclusive.
The results of this exam were inconclusive. Lazar appeared to be truthful on one test, deceitful on a second. He put Lazar through 4 tests and concluded there was no attempt to deceive.
And I left there thinking that I feel we do have some credibility to what the subject had to say. And that's when I went to some of my colleagues.
However, polygraph tests are not always reliable, as they are considered pseudoscience and non-credible pieces of evidence. No matter what, we should consider the test as a possible piece of evidence.
I think we're talking about a subject here that is so far-reaching, and it is so emotional. And when you're dealing with emotions, this is polygraph, because we're dealing, in polygraph, you're looking at fear. The fear of getting caught telling a lie because something bad will happen to you if you do.
Turning our attention to his employment at Los Alamos Laboratory, there's evidence that he worked at Los Alamos. However, there's some controversy surrounding it. In 1982, a newspaper article in the Los Alamos Monitor featured Bob Lazar and referred to him as a physicist working at Los Alamos. Bob Lazar's name also appears in the Los Alamos phone directory from the early 1980s, which shows that he was employed there. Former employees have also corroborated his claims of working there, as they remember him, which supports him working at Los Alamos. Despite the evidence, Los Alamos does not have a record of Bob Lazar, as no official employment record exists. Others also believe that he was not a physicist, and some believe that he was either a technician or a contractor. This shows that his story is complex, as there is evidence supporting his employment and not supporting it at the same time. Lazar's educational background has been scrutinized, since he says he holds degrees from MIT and Caltech. However, both of these institutions have stated they have no record of him attending school there. The people who believe Bob Lazar has education from these schools have put forward the fact that there are people who have seen Bob Lazar at these institutions. They also point to the fact that Los Alamos typically hires highly qualified scientists, which they put forward as evidence to support his story. Element 115 is an interesting part of the story. When Bob Lazar made his first interview in 1989, there was no Element 115 found on the periodic table. He was stating properties surrounding Element 115 before its discovery. It was originally discovered in 2003, being synthesized by Russian and American scientists. It later became known as Moscovium, however it did not display the properties that Bob Lazar has described. Element 115 powered the craft that Bob Lazar has described, which allows it to produce gravity waves for propulsion. When Bob Lazar originally talked about gravity waves, scientists scoffed at the idea due to the fact that gravity waves had not been discovered yet. In 2015, the LIGO Observatory detected gravitational waves, which were produced by 2 massive black holes colliding together. This collision caused ripples in space-time. However, this is different from the type of controlled gravity manipulation that Bob Lazar has described. One other piece of evidence for Bob Lazar's story is the biometric hand scanner, or bone density scanner. Lazar has described a hand scanner which was used in bases such as S4. When Bob Lazar first came out publicly with his story, he described the hand scanner, which was not well known at the time. This shows that he knew a certain amount of classified information. Skeptics argue, however, that this knowledge could have been obtained by someone with access to very secure facilities. Skeptics also point out the existence of such technology does not inherently validate all Lazar's more extraordinary claims, which regards alien technology. Bob Lazar has had many interviews and reflected on the personal and professional consequences of coming forward. No matter what you believe, I think it's important to keep an open mind regarding the story, so I'd like to leave you with a question to ponder. If this story is completely false, why would someone willingly want to come out with this story, knowing fully that they'll be ridiculed and scrutinized? The story of Janet Airlines is about government secrecy, which raises questions about what should and should not be hidden from the public. In 2010, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks released over 500,000 documents, which revealed secrets regarding the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Throughout the conflicts, the US government stated that they were not keeping track of the civilian deaths. However, it turned out they were in fact keeping track of the number of casualties, and they purposely kept it secret. A few years later, in 2012, Edward Snowden released an estimated 50,000 to 200,000 documents from the NSA database, which exposed a secret government surveillance program. This surveillance network surveilled Americans and many people around the world to this day. It shows one of the central locations of this program is in New York City. The building is known as 33 Thomas Street. Its codename is Titan Point. Turning our attention to Bob Lazar, his story, if true, is one of the greatest secrets ever revealed. But no matter what, his story has only added more intrigue to the secrets in the Nevada desert. The philosopher Nick Bostrom has come up with the concept of an Infohazard, which refers to information that if disseminated could cause harm or enable someone to cause harm. For example, instructions for creating a thermonuclear device could lead to catastrophic consequences if made public. Limiting or controlling access to such information is essential for public safety. From the Cold War of Air America and their covert operations under the guise of a civilian airline, to Janet Airlines transporting personnel to mysterious locations, and the many more secrets yet to be revealed. These are just a few that have been found out. However, in 2023, a story came out which may have helped Bob Lazar with his story. David Grush, a former intelligence officer and U.S. Air Force officer, gave an interview to News Nation that would shock the world.
Former senior military intelligence officer comes forward.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number. Some are landed, some are crashed. There's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral, and it's totally frightening.
You've said that we have, the United States has spacecraft, intact craft.
We do.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-human?
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
He revealed he had knowledge about a secret US government program that retrieves crashed UFOs and reverse engineers the technology. He states that this program has been going on for many decades and the US government has possession of non-human biologics. Until more information is released, we will never know. However, I would like to leave you with a final question. What should the government be able to keep secret and what should be made public for everyone? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please check out this video about Project 1794, a US secret program to build a UFO. And remember to stay open and stay curious. Thanks for watching.